In the world of car design, clay models are a crucial part of the process. For nearly 100 years, car companies have used clay models to design vehicles, and many companies still use up to 100 tons of clay each year. Modeling is an expensive process that goes up in price based on the company and the complexity of the vehicle. However, some companies are now using high-tech virtual reality software to design and examine their cars. Clay models are built in top-secret studios that are even more restricted than manufacturing plants. Inside, designers develop vehicles that haven't even been announced yet. The clay used for car models is more sticky and malleable than traditional water-based ceramic clay. Modeling teams first turn design sketches into multiple scaled-down clay models about just over a meter long. Once they decide on the design they want to move forward with, 3D scanners convert it into digital graphics. Those can be edited further with software that can include VR aspects. The data is then transferred to a milling machine. The modeling team first builds a frame out of steel and wood to support foam blocks. Making a whole model out of solid clay would be too expensive and weigh at least several tons. To make the clay more workable, they heat it for 24 hours in a special oven set to around 140 degrees Fahrenheit. Modelers spend a couple of days slathering 1 to 4 inches of warm, soft clay on different parts of the model. Once it cools to room temperature and stiffens, it's ready for shaping. In just 1 to 2 days, the milling machine can carve out a full-size model. However, the car model is not close to being finished yet. Modelers still have to smooth out surfaces, corners, and edges. This is where craftsmanship becomes critical. They also carve out important details like hoods, roof lines, and fenders all by hand, using a variety of tools. These tools may look like medieval surgical instruments, but they have been responsible for some of history's most beautiful cars. The real advantage of clay is versatility. Modelers can experiment and make a change that may or may not work but can be easily fixed. If modelers make a mistake, they use a hot air gun to soften the area and either add more material or remove it. To give the most complete picture of what the vehicle will look like, 3D printers produce headlights, grills, mirrors, and more. The team uses 3D scanners to create a digital version of the model that can be shared instantly with a company's engineers and designers all over the world. Near the end of the process, clay models are covered in a glossy film called denoc that resembles painted sheet metal. It gives modelers an idea of what the actual car will look like. The film can help identify mistakes in the bodywork that need to be corrected. Mark Sadler, who has been a clay modeler for decades and now manages teams for Bentley, says that the hard parts, or the three-dimensional printed parts, they develop with the model, so they'll get more and more detailed as they go along, and the materials in those parts will develop. So what might be a painted part to begin with will end up being a crystal part at the end. In conclusion, despite the emergence of high-tech virtual reality software, clay modeling remains an integral part of car design. The use of clay models allows designers to experiment with different ideas and make changes that can be easily fixed, but process is time-consuming and expensive.